All right, let's move on to wide receiver, okay? Let's go top 5 wide receivers available in the draft as I see them here and I rank them. Number 5 from Missouri, Luther Burden. Dude, this guy just wins on the outside. And a lot of it is just pure acceleration. He is so athletic and he's twitchy. And I think he could be a really good slot player at the next level. What he does need to do is get some refinement in terms of route running. Because at the next level, when you talk about these guys in the next level, these wide receivers can get themselves open, man. They are so precise when it comes to running their routes, and they can get themselves open. They communicate with every movement in their route in order to create space so that they can win. Because at the next level, the whole name of the game is, can you create any amount of space? And he can do that with just God-given ability, but at the next level, at times you can't just rely on God-given ability, quickness, acceleration, and such. So he needs to clean that up. But again, win, man. And you plug him in, a creative offensive play caller plugs in Luther Burden, and he's a weapon right away. Love his game, love his acceleration. And again, just some polish, and he's right there. At number 4, I've got Matthew Golden from Texas, obviously transferred in. And then by the end of the year, he was really the focal point of the passing game for Texas as they made another run into the national semifinal. So, like, he is a really good player. And what I loved about Matthew Golden is that he never shied away from the big moment. When they needed it most, man, they were going to Matthew Golden. You talk about huge moments, whether it was the SEC championship game or playoff games. You know, you're seeing the clip against Michigan down in the goal line before the half. They went to Golden because they trusted his ability to be in the right spot. And as a transfer, that's not always the case. He was a playmaker for them. Their passing game ran through him. And at the next level, I think that he could eventually do the same. I think he's probably better into the slot, probably, but we'll see where he ends up in the NFL. At number 3, I've got Emeka Egbuka. I think his word for me is polish. These guys from Ohio State, man, they just succeed. They are some of the best wide receivers in the National Football League because of who was coaching them in college. All right. Brian Hartline is the best position coach in college football. All due respect, there's a lot of great ones. Hartline's the best. You cannot argue with his track record with what's going on. Garrett Wilson and Marvin Harrison and Jackson Smith and Jigba and Chris Olave and on and on and on. These guys go to the next level. They have been running NFL routes throughout their entirety of their tenure at Ohio State, and they've learned the nuance, exactly what I was talking to you about, like, what are you communicating to the defensive back that you can use to your advantage to create space and a win for not only yourself, but for your quarterback as well. They do that as well as anybody, and Emeka Egbuka was a surgeon out there. I talk about being a surgeon as a quarterback, but as a route runner and just an overall offensive threat, Egbuka is surgical in the way that he plays. I think he's more explosive than people give him credit. He's great catching the football, and he's going to be perfect for a creative offensive coordinator. Egbuka at number 3. Now, Tetairoa McMillan at Arizona did not have a great season, but you look at his frame, man, it's hard for me not to put him at number 2 because he's a true threat in terms of a number 1, a red zone threat, a scoring threat, a third down threat. His frame alone makes him that. Now, did they force the football to him a little bit at Arizona? Yeah, they probably did. But you would too if you had McMillan out there. I think he could use some polish. He doesn't have what I was talking about with Egbuka as far as like the surgical nature with which he plays offense, but he's got the frame and athleticism that allows him to go out there and just beat defenders. That's hard to teach. Hard to teach. I thought that this guy throughout his tenure was just a touchdown waiting to happen. He is terrific with leverage, understanding that he is bigger than the opponent. He understands that it's almost like he's boxing guys out. He's like he's playing basketball. And he uses his body as well as anybody out there. And to me, his frame makes him kind of a true number 1 because you can go out there and now you can get the third down catches, you can get the red zone catches, and you can get catches in crunch time in the playoffs. Generally speaking, big players succeed in the playoffs, and he's obviously a big wide receiver. That leaves number 1. And I've got Travis Hunter at number 1. And truth be told, I would have Travis Hunter at number 1 if he played defense or not. So this is not a complete holistic evaluation of Travis Hunter as a player. This is just an evaluation of Travis Hunter as a wide receiver. Now, I've seen some people like take shots at Travis Hunter as a wide receiver. And to be honest, I don't get it. I do not get it at all. This guy is incredible instinctually when the football is in the air. His ability to win, regardless of where his body is remarkable. He can jump. He understands leverage. His ability as a corner and his knowledge of playing defense helps him as a wide receiver. He is incredibly sudden. He's also very polished in the way that he uses what I would call like hesitation, and then also the ability to kind of like throttle down or not be at full speed in order to speed up once he has kind of lulled the defender to sleep. This is my favorite catch he made all year that you're seeing right now against North Dakota State. He is getting absolutely crushed in the end zone and reaches back and catches that football. The ball skills are incredible. So again, I just want to be crystal clear. This evaluation is not holistic about Travis Hunter as a football player, which would take into consideration that he's also a top 5 corner in this draft. No. This is just, if he was coming out as a wide receiver, he would be the best wide receiver in this draft. He does everything. You put together everything that those guys below him have, whether it's the ability to be sudden and accelerate and win with explosiveness like Luther Burden, Hunter has that. If it's the ability to be targeted in crunch time and be a number 1 like Matthew Golden, Hunter has that. The precision that he uses during route running and the ability to understand that he's communicating things in his route running to the defender in order to create space and win, like Egbuka, he has that. The ball skills to win in contested areas like Tetairoa McMillan, he has that. So again, Hunter, for me, is the top wide receiver in the draft, and I think he's an excellent player. I've said that he's going to be a 3rd wide receiver and not a number 1, only because that's the way to get him on the field and impact the game as a wide receiver and also play him as a defender. So again, that's playing a little bit of cat and mouse, is like, how do you limit the snaps and yet maximize the production, the impact that he has on a game? And that's the way you do it, at least in my estimation. Couple of guys that I think are incredible that you could be seeing very soon after these top 5, Higgins and Noel from Iowa State. These guys can play. I loved their tape. I wanted to get them in there, but I couldn't. And then the other guy that I just really love is Alec Manor from Stanford. Again, so it might not be the best wide receiver draft that we've ever seen. However, there's some guys that you can get, and the depth is very good. So in the middle of the draft, you're getting guys like Alec Manor, Higgins, Noel from Iowa State. Like, these are really good players. And Manor, he can go, man. I'm telling you. And maybe it's just that I stayed up late on that Friday night a couple of years ago and watch him absolutely go berserk against a guy that I think is probably the top corner in this draft, against Travis Hunter. Like, Manor is a really good one-on-one wide receiver. So if you hear his name for your team, middle, late in the draft, I would be excited. Thank you for watching the Joel Klatt Show YouTube channel. And if you liked this clip, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel, and you can stay up to date on all of my college football coverage.